All right, welcome race fans once again to MaxSpeedTV. We have another great night of racing here. This is again our late night race here with the Northwest. That is not the Xfinity Series. This is the Truck Series. So we do apologize for that. That is a typo on our behalf. But this is the Northwest Truck Series, so I do apologize for that. Let's go ahead and we have KR with us in the booth as always. So first off, KR, welcome to the booth. And are you ready for some great racing as well?
Well, thanks, Charles. And yeah, man, I'm excited for this. We're here, excuse me, we're here in Las Vegas. And I'll tell you what, we got a lot more grip than what we had at Atlanta. We're going to see some really fast laps, but we're also going to see some drivers who forget that we're at Vegas and that this grip is going to fall out. So someone about lap 10 is going to eat the dust here, and I'm ready to watch.
Yeah, definitely we'll see some people spinning out here. That outside wall has already bitten a few people here in practice. So I definitely will be looking for that as we're kind of here just floating around in the scenic view, and you can see all these cars going around the track here. They are very close as we were looking here. The top 10 drivers are only separated by .113, so that is not a big gap for 10 different drivers here. Obviously going between a 30.669 to a 30.782, so going to be some very close racing.
It's going to be close racing, especially with these top group of guys. And you're going to see some gaps opening up as we get into some long runs. And you'll see some cars moving to the front who are a little bit better on the long run, and cars on the short run dropping to the back. So there's going to be a lot of action all throughout this race tonight.
There is definitely going to be a lot of action, and again, with those cars being that close, if we see somebody get into the outside wall, we very well could see a 2 to 3 car or more pile up in a corner, or even coming to the flag stand here in the tri-oval. So that's what we're going to be looking for tonight. Again, we always like to give Jeff Stabnow a little poke there, as he says he doesn't win races, and he has won 2 so far this season. Obviously one of those preseason, but he is at the top of the charts right now with that 30.669. So the question is, how many of these drivers behind him right now are not running qual times, that they haven't kind of shown off what they have here tonight?
Talking about wrecking, a big one on the front stretch. But yeah, I'm not really sure who and what has turned a qualifying time. It's gotten kind of convoluted. A lot of laps have been turned, and you know, if you look through the lap sheets, not too many qualifying laps have been ran. A lot of the laps these guys are doing in practice right now are long fuel runs.
Yeah, they definitely are. And as we're looking here, it seems like a good time. I don't know if you have the point standings pulled up, but we do have them here in the overlays with us tonight. So why not let's run through those point standings real fast. Again, taking a look here. Again, we're talking about Jeff Stabnow. He's actually your points leader right now with 121 points over John Ottenbacher, who is not going to be here tonight.
John Ottenbacher not showing up, a threat to win each and every week, always finds a way to the front when that checkered flag is flying. So with him missing this week, that's going to hurt his points, but guys around him are like, oh, thank goodness, we get a little opportunity to either get some breathing room or catch up to him.
Yeah, definitely. Sean Breitzman is here sitting in 3rd place, David Applegate in 4th, Mark Walls 5th, Chris White, Andy Vogt 7th, Douglas Hunt, I do believe, is here as well. Jason Hunt and Dan Stuzzi, I believe, is here as well. So all but one of your top 10 drivers are here. So it's going to be very interesting, as those are your top 10. Which one of those are going to get into 2nd place, as they're only separated by 29 points between 1st and 10th place right now.
Yes, it's points are one thing, but I got to tell you, sometimes I just want to win a stinking race. Yeah, I'm not saying that points aren't important, but some of these guys, they're just looking for a race win and not too worried about the points. So it's going to be kind of a toss-up here with some of these drivers. Are they going to be able to win the race, or are they going to try and think long run, especially here towards the end of the race, and try and salvage a good points night and maybe take a different gamble, a safe decision, and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm not exactly sure how their chase works here, if it's so many points or if you get a win, you're in. They do have a chase coming up, so eventually we will update that on the overlays here to let you know, probably with a color green or something like that, to let you know who's in the chase. But that is coming up here, not sure when. Looks like May 1st is when the chase starts. So once that happens, that is still a little ways off, but not too far off. That will make this even more interesting here, as certain drivers will be eliminated from actually being able to win the championship. So that's going to give us an area to focus on, like they do in real NASCAR. They focus on a select group of drivers here to possibly win the championship.
Yeah, as you start whittling the field down, you start getting the highest finishers, what has been the best runners of the season so far. And even when you join into the very first race of the chase, you're still going to have those few guys who got in by the skin of their teeth, and unless they find something, they're going to get booted out real quick.
Yeah, they definitely are. But while we have a moment here, let's take a second and put up here the drop down one more time. Again, we want to mention qualifying is coming up next. My next two races I have coming up here, Friday night, 9 p.m. Central, will be the V2R TV Dirt Co Media House Sprint Car Series, powered by Payday GG. And Saturday night at 7 was obviously going to be the Dirt Slingers Racing League. That is the 360 Open Series. But you're here in the booth with us, KR. I'm not sure, do you have anything going on Friday night here and Saturday night coming up in the next 2 days?
Friday nights, I step away from the broadcast booth and I go and smash some face and play hockey. Have a good time doing that. But I did just get a broadcast that I'm going to be doing Saturday night at 9 p.m. Central, and it's going to be the Cup Cars at Atlanta.
Well, there you go. 3 great broadcasts coming up. We do have more than that. I believe Rudy has some stuff coming up as well. So a lot of racing action going to be happening here on MaxSpeedTV. So definitely make sure you tune in for that. As we have about 12 minutes left in here, why not? Let's take a run through all the sponsors real fast. Again, we always want to give a big shout out to SimSpeedShop.com. They have some awesome looking button boxes. So if you're looking to get a button box here on iRacing, definitely check them out first. HRE Motorsports and Elite 7 Racing, the 2 teams that help us do what we do best here on MaxSpeedTV by supporting us, and we actually sponsor them as well. And virtual2reality.tv, we also broadcast their series that Friday night, and some more races coming up soon. Definitely make sure you check them out. And if you're looking to get some 3 months free, if you've never been on iRacing, check them out. We will get you 3-month code. You can also message us on our Facebook page at MaxSpeedTV. Dirt Co Media House, when we do broadcast to Facebook, that is courtesy of them. And Ohio IndyCar League, our newest sponsor, and also a league that we broadcast, so kind of double duty there. Make sure you check them out. And definitely you want to give a big shout out to the sponsor putting all of this together here. This is the Walls Beard Co 165, presented by Sanctuary Studios. So big shout out to Josh Cushman, who again is not here tonight doing this. He is the series sponsor, Sanctuary Studios. And as always, we have several drivers here. Highway Equipment Company, they have 2 divisions. One of those is New Leader, and I do believe we will have 2 New Leader trucks here for onboard cameras. That is Mark Walls and Jeff Stabnow, and the other one is, of course, Highway. And we have Shonda Brightsman going to be running that onboard camera here tonight. So that is all the sponsors here. We want to give a shout out to all those. So again, we like to do it here as we got about 10 minutes A little early, probably, but have you seen anybody that you just stands out to you, KR, that you possibly want to see bringing home the win here tonight?
You know, it's really hard looking at the time charts trying to decide who's the best, because the fallout here, it gets pretty drastic. So what you're looking for is, what I am looking for, I should say, is a driver that's fast in his first laps out, but then is able to maintain a good solid speed, great pace, and doesn't burn his tires up. Drivers like Jeff Stabnow, Mark Walls, and Sean Brightsman are kind of on my radar, but it's going to be hard for me to decide between those three.
It definitely is. As we're cycling through, there's still a lot of drivers out here on the track, and we're starting to see them kind of group up and do some mock-up racing here. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see. That's what I'm going to pay attention to. Excuse me. Is that close racing. Again, especially, you get around lap 20 or so, how are these tires going to fall off, and how are they going to differ from, the beginning of this race? They're going to race side by side. We may even see some three-wide action going on compared to lap 20, 25. And the big thing is that we looked at the Xfinity race, we did not have very many cautions. So looking at that to the trucks, I'm wondering how many cautions we're going to have. Is it going to be, 5 or 6 cautions? Are we going to have, 2 cautions? That's all the stuff that, we won't know here until another probably 20 minutes when we actually take to the race.
It all kind of gets tied in together with that drop-off and everyone's setup, and how good their setup is when the tires have lost all that sticky, gooey goodness that is in them. But they're going to end up having to start feathering the throttle, having to work the throttle on corner entries. These trucks will start getting really, really loose coming in to corner entry, especially going into turn 3. I found that going into turn 3, super, super loose about 10 laps into a run if you've burned up your tires. And then, coming out of turn 4 or coming out of turn 2, those are going to be spots to watch. There's going to be a lot of trucks just really in a lot of trouble in those spots tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is. 110 laps here today. Your tires kind of wear off around 20 laps. So, ideally you don't want cautions, but if they're going to come out, you'd love to see them every 20 laps. So that'd be about a 4 or 5 pit stop race if you want to come in. Like I said, 2 or 3, 5 laps, I doubt we'll see anyone come in. We may see someone try to get off schedule with the rest of these guys. With that 110 lap mark, if you could come in on, say, lap 5 or 6, you could get a little bit off cycle and possibly maybe put some strategy in there to try to win this race. But again, that's going to have to wait and see here. We have seen a lot of different strategies in the Xfinity and in the Truck Series already. So it's going to be interesting to see if anyone has a strategy different from everyone else, and is it going to pay off for them here tonight?
Getting the off sequence, I'm not sure it's going to be your best bet, but then again, that's why I'm in the broadcast booth and not down there calling a race for one of these drivers or even behind the wheel. So I've never been a big fan of it because it has never worked out for me. My strategy is go out, lead every lap, and do good.
Yeah, and definitely. We've talked to, we were in the pits earlier before we came up here, and we've learned from these drivers, they're trying to get these tires to a fuel run. So we know it's probably not going to be a fuel race. We already know it's going to be a tire war. Who can get the freshest tires? Who can make those tires last? That's what this race is going to be about. And the real question is, like we were talking about tire wear, who has a good enough setup here tonight, because it is open setup, to make those tires last an entire fuel run. Whoever can master that plan there and that strategy to make those tires last for an entire fuel run, assuming we have good long green flag runs here, that is going to be who I think we're going to see in victory lane here tonight.
You're right. We were watching practice, and like I said, a lot of drivers were just focusing on the long runs, not a lot of time spent on their qualifying setups. So very, very important to these guys, like you're saying, to try and make it to a full fuel run and do the best with a worn out tire.
Yeah, it's definitely, and I'd just throw a prediction out there. I don't expect to see too many cautions. I think we haven't seen a whole lot of people spinning out. I think they're going to kind of settle down. They're not going to press too many issues here early in this event, and I think we're going to see some good battling, but I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of single file action early in the race. Now, you know, those last 10 laps of the race, 20 laps of the race, I think we're going to see some people press some issues here and possibly try to make up some ground there, because you have about 20 laps on the tires before they are just shot. So those last maybe 15 laps or so, you're going to see some people just hammer down and try to move to the front in a hurry.
Moving to the front in a hurry, that's where I want to be, but it will cost you tires, and we really can't stress that enough. What you do in the opening stages of your fuel run / tire run is kind of going to determine how you are in the middle to late stages of that same tire set. And you got to be careful. You got to plan ahead, and you got to plan on cautions. But if a caution doesn't come out, then that's when you got to say, okay, I got to start picking it up now.
Yeah, you definitely do. And it's all, racing is, in general, it's a lot about skill, but it's a lot about luck too. You want to pick it up so you're going to get up there in time, but at the same time, you got to work it perfect, because say you are in midfield or so, we're getting to about 25-30 laps to go, you decide, okay, I'm going to start pushing it, I'm going to get up to the front, you wear your tires out 10 laps to go. Do you come in the pit and lose that track position? Because those people that are already up there with you in the front, they didn't have to wear out their tires. They were already there. So it's going to be a tough call. Again, that's why we're up here in the booth and not down the track. Do you pit and lose the track position? Do you pit and get the fresh tires? It's all like a 50-50 toss-up that these guys have to decide, all within like a 2-lap period here of about a minute and a half under caution.
One of the things I like about a long race, we got 120 laps here at Vegas. I can try a couple things early on in the race, and if it ends up costing me time, I know I have the rest of the race to work my way back up. So let's say we come in and we take 2 tires, and that's not good enough. I know at a later stage, I'm not going to take 2 tires. I'm probably going to get burned trying to get a race win. Even though I took 2 tires, first one off pit road, everyone else will be taking 4, and I'll just get burned. So I do like to spend my early parts of the race kind of feeling things out, feeling strategies, and then you got to settle into your strategy not too long after about the quarter mark.
Definitely do. It looks like we got about a minute 45 left here in the practice, so we are gonna step away for just a minute, get put to the national anthem, and we will be back here for the start of qualifying to cover all that action. So again, we'll be right back here right after the national anthem.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. Qualifying is underway as it looks like they are getting ready to take out onto the track. Some drivers already have. So let's switch cameras here, get up the driver bar for you. It looks like Brandon Peters is going to be coming out, and that number 5 True Timber Machine. Again, he put in some good laps here in practice, so we'll see if he can duplicate that here in the race.
Brandon Peters laying down some practice laps. You know, his best practice time, as I try and find him on the sheet, was a 30.701. That was a pretty good time.
Yeah, it definitely was indeed, as it looks like he's going to put in a time here, so we'll kind of see what it's going to be. Definitely a 52.814 is not going to be the fastest time he'll put in, as he is starting lap number 1 now. Nobody's put in the time yet, so we're kind of just waiting at this point to see, you know, who's going to be the first one to officially put that time in. As it looks like it will be Brandon Peters anyway to be the first one. He was the first one out. No, it's not. It's going to be David Applegate. And we were wrong. We were saying earlier here before we got back from the national anthem, as Brandon Peters does take pole with a 30.943. Scott Hutchinson is racing tonight in that number 91. He just ran a 31.051.
Scott, generally a member of the session, but prefers to back out of the racing due to internet issues. But he's out here tonight, and looks like he's going to be pretty quick.
Yeah, definitely. Must have got that internet fixed. As William Fletcher, a new driver here we've not seen before, just ran a 30.765, but then right away being overtaken once again with a 30.748 by Brandon Peters. So Brandon Peters, we haven't talked about him a lot, but he may be a force to be reckoned with here tonight. As we're looking here, I don't think some of these guys have put times in. Mark Walls has not put a time in. I do expect to see him up at the front.
We got 13 cars who actually established a time, but we still have several drivers out on the track right now. So many guys also like to wait until the final, I will say, moments of qualifying. Wait till the last minute to go out, so to speak. Don't know why, but makes them feel a little special.
Yeah, definitely, as Mark Walls is going to put in a 9th place time, 30.916. And some of these guys, you know, they may just like to go out there last just to kind of fill out the competition, see how hard they need to run it in qualifying. Do they need to tape it up more and try to get a real fast time, or can they lay off the tape a little bit and, you know, just put in a fairly decent time? So some of them may do that, you know, just kind of filling out the competition, as Andy Voigt's going to put in a 7th place time of a 30.800.
Mark Walls on top of the board right now with a 30.696. He's one of the drivers I'm keeping my eye on for this race, and here he is in qualifying, not letting me down. Definitely
not. Brandon Peters right there behind him. That's where they finished in practice, 1 and 2, I do believe. Dana Rogers currently in 12th with a 30.994. I think that's the highest I've seen her up here in qualifying. As we're looking back here, Carl Burke, we do expect him to be very fast in that number 53 machine here tonight, as he was very fast in the Xfinity race.
Carl Burke was fast, and many of these drivers were fast as well that haven't turned a lap yet. Chris White won the race in the Xfinity car earlier this week, and he has not pulled out of pit road yet, so still waiting to see where he ends up. Brian Barnes, we saw him at the back of the pack in the Xfinity Series at the start of the race, but come to the end of it, he was all the way up front until he had an incident where he got taken out.
Definitely, and Joseph Bissett running the second fastest time right now with a 30.717. So a very good run for him in that number 96 machine here. And another driver we haven't seen, I don't believe we saw him last week, that is Jason Swank in the number 75 machine as he's pulling it to pit road. We have not seen him last week, and I believe I didn't see him at the Xfinity race either.
Chris White getting out on the track now. I'm watching him accelerate down the backstretch. I expect this to be a very decent lap. Probably going to get up there along with Mark Walls and Joseph Bissett. But, you know, it's qualifying, it's racing, anything could happen. So be curious to see how his qualifying setup is.
Yeah, he definitely would love to put that SimStar Motorsports number 35 at the top of the charts once again and get another win. But again, this is going to be very close. He has, I'll say that, I believe he won the Xfinity, but he has not won a truck race yet. Mark Walls won last week, so this will be very interesting to see if he can pull off a win here in the trucks. I know he'd love to bring that car to victory lane and do some celebrating with it.
These guys do like to celebrate by doing some donouts, burning the tires down. So hopefully we'll see quite the display of turning tires into smoke.
It definitely just put in a time, only an 18th place time, a 30.978. But again, everybody running here. If you look, first Mark Walls through 18th of Chris White, only separated by 0.284. That is not a lot of time here for this track. We're going to see a lot of side-by-side racing.
It's going to be some close racing all night long. And, you know, Chris White jumping up a little bit, and it popped his engine, and just as he got across the line, good enough for 12th right now, but he had that thing hot.
Yeah, and the question is he going to lose that 12th place? As now Jeff Stabnow is out on the track. We saw him fast. He was at the top of the charts, and he's going to take it once again with a 30.622. So, again, Jeff Stabnow in that WallsBeardCo.com new leader Chevrolet taking it to the top of the charts here in qualifying.
He does take it to the top of the charts. He was one of the ones I said to watch. My three I picked to watch is Jeff Stabnow, Mark Walls, and Chris White. Chris White, not that great of a qualifying, but like you said, he's not very far off.
Yeah, he's not. And it looks like everybody, excuse me, has taken the time here for the most part. We still have Dan Stuzzi, Mona, I'm not sure how you say that name, Lehman, hopefully that is right. Ray Forner has not come out. Chris Sherburne and Sean Freeberg have not, but Sean Brightsman is on the tracker now. He's another one we expect to see very high ups. He really wants to put that Walls Beard Co Highway Toyota up at the front.
Brightsman, a fast driver here, laid down some great laps in practice. Another one that spent a lot of time focusing on his race setup in practice. So here he is, getting ready to set his qualifying time. And, you know, it's going to be good for him to get up front here.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if he's one of those that he's scouting out the competition here. Very last one to run so far. He came out just in enough time where he can actually put the times in, as he's going to jump to 17th with a 30.906. Again, only 0.284 off of the leader, Jeff Stabnow.
Yeah, so Stabnow holding on to that top spot. He's done a great job with it. You know, he's fending off everybody left and right. Got a 30.622. And again, these guys are popping the engines as they're crossing the start-finish line. Sean Brightsman just blew up.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
He didn't even make it his 2 laps.
Yeah, he had a bit too much tape on that car as he blew it up right at the line, and I don't see anybody else coming out onto the track. With 46 seconds, it wouldn't matter anyway, unless they had some nitrous in that tank. There's no way they could complete a lap here with 35 seconds left to go. So That means your HRE Motorsports starting grid is coming up here in about a minute.
You know, one of the things that a long race has is that it's many opportunities be able to work your way through the field. Just because you had a rough time in qualifying doesn't mean your race is over. You have lots of time. You know, Charles, we talk a lot about the differences between the dirt races, you know, in a sprint car where the feature is 30 laps. And you got to get everything you can every single lap. Here, you can take your time setting up a pass.
Yeah, you definitely can. So it looks like everybody is taking to the grid now. I have a feeling we're going to see some great racing here again. Everyone, like you said, is going to take their time. No need to press any major issues too early in the race, as we are going to switch down to our main camera here in just a second. And we'll get there, and we're going to get to the leader. Unfortunately, our list is a little jumbled up sometimes, so we do apologize for that, as we can find our leaders up here. There we go. So why not? We don't have a whole lot of time, so we'll go ahead and get to your grid here. Row 1 is going to be Jeff Stabnow and Mark Walls, teammates. Going to be very interesting to see them two racing side by side here early in this race. And actually, let us switch to a different camera angle here real fast. There we go. And going to row 2, it's going to be Joseph Bissett and Jason Hunt. Row 2 is going to be Brian Peters and William Fletcher. William Fletcher, we've not seen him before. And Brian Peters, I do see a lot out of him tonight, as he is putting some very fast times. Row 4 is going to be Scott Hutchinson and Steve Silstad. Again, Hutchinson making his debut race here with us. Row 5 is going to be Gary Nichols and Andy Vogt. Both of those very great drivers we see lead laps here in the past. So it'll be very interesting to see if they can do so here again tonight.
Row 6 will be Tom Green and Trenton Barrington. Chris White, Jason Swank will make up row 7. Row 8 will be Kip Leo and Carl Burke. Don Breitzman and Doug Hunt will make up row 9. And then row 10 will be Mike Peterson and Matt Henry.
And in row 11 is going to be Brad Cornell and Donald Swafield. Again, two good drivers as well. Row 12, Dana Rogers and James Dazil. Hopefully that is right. Have not seen James race with us, so it'll be interesting to see how he finishes here tonight. Row 13, David Applegate and Brian Barnes. Again, interesting to see them this far back in the field, 25th and 26th. Row 14 is going to be Ryan Maines and Sean Freeberg, who did not take a time. Row 15 is going to be Ray Foreigner and Chris Sherburne. I'm not sure if they took times either. I do not believe they're actually even on track. We'll see here in a minute. Row 16, Dan Stuzzi and Mona Lehman. Hopefully that is right. And nobody in row 17. So that's going to do it for your HRE Motorsports starting grid. I think we're just about ready here to get the green flag.
Green flag is in the flagman's hands. Jeff Stabnow has control of the field. Here we go, green flag out in the air. This race is underway. 120 laps coming at you.
This is going to be a good race. Again, these trucks don't just take off like a rocket, but they do get going. Once they get going, as we'll get up to about 180 miles an hour, and we're already seeing some good racing action right there between those top three right now. That is Jeff Stabnow, Mark Walls, and Brandon Peters.
Yeah, Mark Walls on the outside there. Jeff Stabnow holding on to the inside. And, you know, getting into a fight for position here a little early is not what you want to do. You just kind of want to start logging some laps, especially at least to lap 10, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely do. As we'll look here, Scott Hutchinson Again, we haven't seen him race before, but he's in 4th place right now. So obviously a very good driver. Just hasn't had the internet that he thought was acceptable to be out here racing with these guys. Again, there's 30 drivers out on the track right now. Mona Lehman and James Delzil, hopefully that is right, is not racing with us, but still a lot of battling going on. As we have a battle for the lead, it looks like Brandon Peters is going to take the lead from Stab now, but they're side by side right now. So the question is, who is going to come away with the lead at the line?
And it looks like Stab now on the inside, Peters on the outside. These guys are duking it out for who's going to lead this lap. And, you know, with Peters on that outside there, he's going to get a little bit of time lost. But if he stays on that outside, and here he goes crossover on Stab now moving high in 1 and 2. Lost my train of thought with that.
Well, yeah, they are definitely side by side right now. And very interesting here to see them is it looks like Stab now is going to let him go. He is going to back off and give the lead to Brandon Peters. So your official leader right now is the 5 of Brandon Peters. So, you know, he's just going to hang off. He's not going to try to wear them tires out any faster than he has to. As we'll see if anybody has anything for him later in the race. Again, let's go back here. Let's check in with Chris White, currently in 8th place right now, but he's got his hands full with right now with the, I believe that's the 12 of Jason Hunt. So both of those very fast drivers right now as they're duking it out for 7th position. Look behind them, you have even more racing going on.
There's cars all over the track. I'm looking at David Applegate right now and Jason Swain in the 75 and the 23. These guys are going at it. The 23 on the outside. But there's about 6-7 cars all running 2x2.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and right there we have Applegate going around. Caution does come out. Let's go back and take a look at that. What happened is the question. It looked like David Applegate may have got hooked. Here it is, the 75 battling with David Applegate. Yeah, the 75 just slightly got into David Applegate, and I'm not too sure. I think the 75 may have got a little bit worse into the deal, so we'll go back here and look at it one more time. Again, we'll go back just a little bit right there. Contacts made. This is not the first time they were beating and banging back here.
No, these guys running a little close to each other and just a little bit of miscommunication between the drivers there. That's something that really shouldn't happen on the straightaway. But when you're driving these trucks as fast as you are and you're expecting one thing and something else happens, you know, that's racing.
Yeah, it definitely is. As we go back to live here under caution on lap 8. Look at everybody has come to pit road for the most part. Brandon Peters has opted not to. Scott Hutchinson did not come in. Gary Nichols, Tom Green, Andy Vogt, Steve Silstad, Carl Burke, and Ryan Maines. Your top 8 drivers have not come to pit road. Everybody else coming down pit road, though.
One of the things I noticed when I was out turning some laps in these trucks, 10 laps, you really felt the car fall off after 10 laps. The tires just really, that was kind of the breakover point. So a lot of these guys pitting right before they get to that 10 lap mark, and I would expect those who have taken 4 tires to regain any ground that they lost from those that didn't pit.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see what happens here. Do these guys know? Maybe they got some special tires on there. They got some Days of Thunder tires on those cars. Special set of tires. Maybe Harry gave them something special, but we'll see. We've seen in the past those tires that get worn out, you stay out, they really eat you alive. You will drop like a rock through this field. And you say, if you look here, if you fall, if you're, say, Brandon Peters with 9 laps compared to 0 or 1 with Jeff Stabnow, who's the first car out on the track that took tires, everybody behind him took tires. You could fall all the way back down to 30th if a caution doesn't come out before you get some fresh tires on that truck.
Yeah, you would be in a lot of trouble in that situation, but like I said, these guys, about 10 laps into the tires, it hits that fall off point, but then it just seems you can maintain it a little bit. So really, I think these guys who haven't taken tires, if they can hold on for about 10 laps, everyone on fresher tires will start rolling into about the same lap times that they are turning. So it's going to be tough to do. It's a tall order, but you got to hold on for those 10 laps.
Yeah, you definitely do, as it looks like the lights are off on the pace truck. So why not here? It's early. Dixon start lap 10. Why not go a little crank it up here? Let's do that. We'll be back here. Let's go for a little crank it up early in this race. Alright, we are back here. A little cranking up early in the race. Never hurt nobody's. We put the top three back up there for you. Right now, it is Brandon Peters, Scott Hutchinson, and Andy Vogt out in your top three. Andy Vogt putting together a huge run early in this race, as there's a lot of battling going on behind them here. As I believe it looks like back to Carl Burke. They're too wide, too deep. Back there battling for what looks to be about 7th position.
We got cars all over this front stretch, and when I say cars, I mean trucks. These guys are spread out all across this track here. We got high, we got wide, and we got handsome, but that ain't me.
Definitely, we're watching a good battle between the 53 and the 24 Jeff Stabnow and excuse me, Carl Burke. We are losing our voice here tonight. That is a good battle as it kind of fizzles itself out. I just can't get over the 91 right now. Again, we haven't seen him, but he's in 2nd place right now. He may have a shot to win this. He hasn't led a lap yet, but he's in 2nd. Again, internet's fixed, it looks like, and he is putting together a good run. Let's see if he can close it out. One that I want to keep an eye on that is back in 19th right now. That is the 46 of Sean Breitzman. We're used to seeing him well further in this field, so we're keeping an eye. Maybe he can work a strategy out. Maybe he's got some secret that we don't know about.
It's entirely possible. He might be chilling out in the early parts of the race, but I can tell you somebody who's not chilling out, that's Mark Walls. He restarted here in about 11th, and he's already 5th place, trying to get into 4th here, and he's the first car out there with fresh tires. And Jeff Stabnow right behind him in the 24 machine. Those two guys pitted for tires, and they're starting to carve their way through the field here.
Yeah, they definitely are. As you see right there with the 29, Mark Walls, he is running the new leader onboard camera here. Well, why not? We do have a minute to do so. Let's go on board with him and see what it's like compared to those old tires. See how fast he runs down the car in front of me, which is Scott Hutchinson in that number 91 car. Well, we'll switch here. We can find it. There it is. Roll bar camera here. Again, you're on board with the 29 in the new leader onboard camera, Mark Walls. And we'll see. Again, we talk about it every week, but he's not fighting that wheel too much here early in this race. And if we go back here to Gary Nichols right behind him, so we'll take a look here and see in a comparison how much he's having to turn that wheel a lot more to get it down into the corners. Those tires are really worn out right now as he's having to work that wheel quite a bit more, turn it a lot more to get by. As it looks like Jeff Stabnow, running the other new leader onboard camera, is going to get by him fairly easy.
Jeff Stabnow got the little bit of fresher tires there, but you know, like I said, you just got to hold on for a few laps, and then these guys on fresh tires, they're going to experience fall off, and it'll kind of level out. The fall off will level out, and you just got to start holding on to your car. And then you're going to experience here in a little bit another step down and fall off. So you just got to do what you can while you got these guys on fresh tires trying to get by you. And, you know, Mark Wells sitting in third. He's coming through the field. He's going to put some pressure on these guys. And he's already got 11, 12 laps on these newer tires now.
Yeah, he definitely is. He got by him, and both Jeff Stabnow got by the 91 like he was sitting still. And it looks like they're about to do the same thing with the 10 of Andy Vogt. As Andy Vogt trying to do everything in his power to hold him off. But, you know, 20 laps versus 12. That's 8 laps difference on tires. That is a world of difference here. As you can see, he's just going to get to the inside, and he's going to take that position without much of a fight. Is really Andy Vogt's probably not going to battle him too hard anyway with those worn out tires.
Dude, looking at about a difference of 8 laps, so that needs to be logged in your memory. You need to make that note as a driver, as a crew chief, saying, hey, these guys are on 8-lap fresher tires, and look at what they're already doing. They're already breathing down our necks, getting ready to make a pass for the lead. But they got to get by second place here, and it looks like they're starting to stall out for that.
Yeah, dude, I just saw the 29 of Mark Walls as we were talking. He actually got a little out of shape as he was trying to make that pass. So, again, he's right there. So those guys may know what they're doing. I'm sure, again, Brandon Peters and Andy Vogt in the top 2. They're probably saying, man, give us a caution. These tires are done. Someone find a water bottle, something out on that track to go a caution. But they don't want to be in it. As you can see, a little bump there from the 29 of Mark Walls to the 10 of Andy Vogt. Is Mark Walls is getting real loose coming out of the turns.
Mark Walls is trying to get that throttle down, getting a little squirrely, but nothing that he can't handle. I've seen this guy do a lot of laps, and he maintains the tires well. He's just trying to force the issue a little bit here, and once he decides either to settle in the third or does get around Andy, you'll see he starts to smooth back out a little bit.
It definitely, and a very interesting note here is that your top 4 that we're watching right here right now, 23 laps versus 15. So it's at this point now, they're really probably about the same. They're both worn out. You know, obviously 23 is going to be a little bit more than 15, but they're at the point where the freshness has worn off. So they're really struggling to get by them. So it's just going to be a matter here. Hopefully nothing major happens. These guys don't get in a wreck here. But those tires are extremely old for both of these guys. So it's going to be very interesting if they're able to actually get by Brandon Peters, who currently has the race lead.
Brandon Peters now under heavy pressure from the new leader teammates of Jeff Stabnow and Mark Walls. And I'll tell you, they're going to be the new leaders here in just a minute. They got to figure out a way to get around Brandon Peters. But I really feel like Mark Walls and Jeff Stabnow are a little bit of the exception here. If you look through the rest of the field, Brad Cornell, Brian Barnes, Matt Henry, these guys are on fresher tires. They are not in the top 10. And they were some of those guys that made pit stops. So it's kind of hard to judge. I think Mark Walls and Jeff Stabnow just are going to be that great of a truck tonight, because even though some of these other guys are on fresher tires, they're just not able to do what Mark and Jeff had done so far.
And they have put a lot of time in practicing here. We were in their practice earlier, yesterday and the day before. They put in so many hours, like 4-hour sessions apiece. As we were watching, I thought we had a battle for the lead there. Is Mark Walls actually was ahead of Brandon Peters for a minute, but here comes his teammate Jeff Stabnow is going to take it to the inside and see if he can't get by, but I think he's going to think a little bit better of it, and he's going to jump back behind him. But look who's behind him once again. Here comes Andy Vogt making it run.
Andy Vogt charging back up to make his presence known, so to speak. But, you know, real quick, just want to go over a couple things, a little housekeeping, if you will. James Dalziel, William Fletcher, Jason Swank, and Kip Leo have all packed up, gone home. So that currently gives us 27 cars on track, with 25 of them on the lead lap.
Yeah, and one, unfortunately, that is not. We'll go back here to 27. That is Carl Burke. Unfortunately, he is 2 laps down right now. So that, again, very unfortunate to see him that many laps down. But, you know, with any luck, he can get back here. Joseph Bissett just ahead of him right there. Well, say just ahead of him. He's 1 lap ahead of him, but he is quite a bit ahead of him on the track. But those two are laps down, as well as Dana Rogers 1 lap down. And something is up with Dana Rogers pulling that car to the apron. Not sure what is going on there. Looks like they're going to go to pit road.
Rogers has some extensive damage on that front nose there. Not sure, I didn't see him get into anybody. Don't know what's going on. But that could be part of the reason for this pit stop. Maybe got some elevated temperatures from that damage and too much tape. Yeah,
the front of that car is pretty well destroyed, as they're going to take it, like I said, to pit road, pull into their pit stall here in just a second. Back up to the front is Brandon Peters still with a dominant lead out there. Again, 22 laps on the tires for Mark Walls and Jeff Stabnow. 30 for Brandon Peters, now 31. But I think we're at this point where it really doesn't matter too much, as they're all worn out and they're all really just trying to hang on to it at this point for dear life.
Yeah, Brandon Peters is doing a great job. He's fended off a great challenge by the 29 and 24 Mark Walls, Jeff Stabnow. These guys, like we keep saying, they're on a little bit fresher tires, and I really feel they're a bit of the exception to taking these tires here as early as they did. But Chris White, he took tires as well on that last caution we had. He's finally broke into the top 10. He's running 7th place. Jason Hunt, Brad Cornell, those guys also took tires. They're inside the top 10. So now's the time to really start thinking about green flag pit stops, maybe a little short pit. Don't know if that would work out too well, but we might have a caution here before too long. We're in a long green flag run, and these tires are starting to fade.
Yeah, and Brandon Peters just lost the lead here to Mark Walls. Jeff Stabnow got by him, but look what caused it. You have the lap car of David Applegate got in there, and they were able to squeeze by him. There as a caution is going to come out, and it looks like several cars involved. Brian Main's going to be involved in this. Now let's take a look, see if we can get back here to him. Where is Ryan Maines at on our list? There he is. Let's go back and take a look here.
I see Gary Nichols got involved into an incident. 3 cars, the 17 machine, the 8, and the 49, and a late contact there with the 18.
You see, we're watching, we went about a minute back. 35 of Chris White was around this. Oh, the 49 got into the wall, hits the 8, and the 17 getting involved. So, yeah, Gary Nichols getting involved. Oh, and it looks like the 18 is going to get involved as well. Brad Cornell, like you said, a lot of guys getting involved there, as we'll go back up to live. So that is a lot of cars involved, and it looks like everybody's going to come down pit road as we expected.
So Brandon Peters, held on great. Unfortunately, he was unable to hold on to the lead, but he's still only third. But now he's going to be on the same tires as Mark Walls and Jeff Stabnow. So those guys took tires. That gamble of taking tires worked well for these two. So it's going to put them in the front here. But now they got to get the race off pit road and do a great pit stop.
Yeah, as we here on pit road here, you can see the green cone there just in the bottom right of your camera. You could there, as it looks like the race off of pit road is going to go to Mark Walls. And looking behind him, we'll see here it's Jeff Stabnow and then Brandon Peters. Actually, it's showing Brandon Peters beat him out barely. So very interesting there, as he did get beat out, but Chris Sherburne stayed out. And it looks like Brian Barnes, interesting there, one. We're looking at Brandon Barnes. Did you notice what he did? He has a time on pit road, 27.5 seconds. He went down pit road, but did not make a pit stop.
I'm watching the replay of his pit stop here, and it looks like he possibly blew right through it and kept on going.
So indeed he did. So it's showing that he has one lap, as he's actually going to pull it back to pit road now. So maybe he couldn't find his pit stall or something happened, as he is going to pull it onto pit road now and get some good fresh Goodyears onto that truck.
Costly mistake for Brian Barnes, but again, we're early in the race. If you're going to make a mistake, do so early on, and hope for the best as the race unfolds in front of you.
Yeah, that is definitely not what you want to see, or what you want to do there, is missing your pit stall, or maybe that was a busy pit road. Maybe he just overshot it, couldn't find it. As it gets very difficult to see when you have, 27 other flags, or lollipops, whatever you want to call them, waving there. It can be very tricky and difficult to see your pit stop.
Very, very difficult. You know what else is going to be difficult? Chris Sherburne on 30-lap tires. He's our front leader right now. Front leader. What kind of word is that, front leader?
That is a KR word right there. But, yeah, it's going to be very interesting. 30 laps on a set of tires. 8 or 9 was a good one, but 30 laps, and it may be 31 by the time we actually get going racing again.
It's a brave move, not one that I'm fully understanding here. Don't know if he didn't pit, don't know if my scoring is incorrect, but I would say that this is going to be a costly mistake for Sherburne, and very likely going to stack up the field. We might see another yellow come because of this.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting if he can hold on to theirs. And the way we've seen the 29 of Mark Walls and the 24 of Jeff Stabnow, as they are lining up on the outside, they were super fast on fresh tires. So, and that was, 1 lap versus 8 or 9 laps. You've got 2 laps now under caution versus about 28 under green flag condition. My prediction is they are probably going to come by and pass him very quickly. But again, this is not always about this race. He'd love to get the win, but this is also about leading laps, getting that bonus point for the point standings. So I do believe, again, Chris Sherburne leading right now. Let's pull up the points real fast here for you. See where he is sitting. He is currently in 14th in points, so that will definitely help him out just a little bit here in the point standings. Coming into this race, again, he was in 14th, so that is a bonus point for him as the pace car is off. So we're getting ready to take the green flag again.
Sherburne getting a great jump, and surprised he didn't spin the tires there, but doing everything he can correctly. And now he's going to have to just hold on to his truck, because these guys are going to start eating him up alive.
Yeah, and a little contact there between Brandon Peters and Mark Walls. Mark Walls actually has some damage to the right side of that truck now, as Peters couldn't hold it to the bottom of the track like he wanted to, and slid up just enough to to get into, and that will put Brandon Peters back to the front, though, followed by Mark Walls. And Mark Walls not settling for that. He's going to try to take it to the front.
So Sherburne, in one lap, went from first to fourth, and he's not done falling through the field. Like I said, this strategy move, I'm not sure about it. If you were trying to lead a lap, lead that lap, then come in and take tires, as he's going to just continue to fall throughout this field.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe he's thinking of something we didn't, but we also saw last week somebody did that. They stayed out and then came back in, but the cars behind him beat him to the line, and he didn't even lead a lap. So maybe he wanted to assure that he would indeed lead a lap.
Well, either way, he's got a lot of work cut out for him. Hopefully he can hold on for a while if the caution doesn't come back. Oh, leaders are spinning. Looked like the leaders got together. Not really sure how they didn't end up crashing.
That is very interesting. We'll take a look here. Let's see if we can't go back about 30 seconds or so and take a quick look at it. Hopefully a caution does not come out while we are here. We'll take a look, see what you were seeing as we did miss it live. Okay, right up here we have Brandon Peters and Jeff Stabnow. Oh, yeah, Peters gets into Stabnow. Stabnow gets it way out of shape, but somehow saves it as we go back up to live. Oh, what a good save for, or that was Mark Walls. Spin, my bad. They look identical there almost. Well, not really, but look similar anyway. But that was Mark Walls that almost took a spin, but somehow saved it.
So great driving there. That not very often do you get save a car that far out of shape, but doing a great job here. Once again, let's do a little bit of house cleaning. Dan Stussy, Carl Burke. These guys have look like they got a little bit of internet issues and have been booted out of the race. So that leaves us with 25 cars in the race still, and we have 20 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, they are starting to pick them off here as we'll take a look here. Gary Nichols is the last car, or in last place right now, back in 25th place. He's got a gap of 1 lap, but we'll take a look real fast. There's he is. And take a look to your leader, Brandon Peters. They are not that far from starting to lap people again, as they were putting people down very quickly. And because of that contact, I want to let everyone know, too, if you can see it on the overlays, Brandon Peters has a 1.066 second lead over Jeff Stabnow right now.
Getting that lead is going to be very important. It starts cutting out the draft. Draft can play a factor here in how well you can suck up to the guy in front of you. And if Brandon Peters can continue to pull away, that's going to not allow Jeff to use any bit of draft to catch up to him.
Yeah, and it looks like here now it's 1.133, so he is pulling away from him ever so slightly here. And also you look, Peters has led 35 laps now, 36 right there at the line. So interesting, he has led 36 laps compared to 4 for Mark Walls. Sherburne has led 3 and Stabnow led 2. So far he is off to a very dominant start. And again, I want to make a slight correction real fast. The overlay, or and you see in the overlays it does say 120 laps. That was a misprint on where we got our information on Dan Lisa. It was put to 110. It's actually 120 laps today, not 110. So that's going to make it even more interesting. Can those 10 laps make a difference?
It'll make a huge difference. We saw that with Mark Walls and Jeff Stabnow when they pitted, when the caution came out, with only 7 green flag laps ran.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it looks like Andy Vote's going to try to get by Stabnow for second position. Let's go back. Look who's in 5th place right now. The 35 of Chris White, putting together a good run for Sim Star Motorsports. And again, let's see, he's got 13 tires on there as he does get by the 12 of Jason Hunt. why not here for just a second? Let's go on board with him. Again, he is running the SimStar Motorsports onboard camera. And none of these guys right now seem to be working it. You can definitely tell the farther we get into this race, the more they have to turn the wheel to get them to turn because they don't have the grip that they once had. But right now, 13 laps in, he's really not having to fight that wheel too much.
Solid setup underneath that truck. He qualified very poorly, but he knew that his truck was good. He never panicked, and he's slowly and methodically working his way through the field, and here he is in the top 5.
Yeah, he is picking them off one by one right now. And so we will switch back to the main camera. Can he get by the 29 of Mark Walls? Again, Mark Walls, as you can see right there up close, has some damage to the right side of that truck where he collided with Brandon Peters. And that is definitely going to slow him down. The question is, how much will it slow him down? It may not slow him down much at all. That you know, it's all going to be determined. This isn't about pack racing and super speedways like you were talking about earlier. So you know, you do get a little draft. It is going to hurt the aerodynamics of this truck, but the question is, how much is it really going to affect him?
It's costing him a little bit of time. It's probably costing him about thousandths of a second each lap. As you can see, Chris White is really starting to reel him in right now, and he's losing some ground to Andy Vogt.
Yeah, he is definitely, as Andy Vogt is going to try to run him down, run down Stab now. I just don't know if they can catch him, but Brandon Peters, what a run. Again, he is having a fantastic night here tonight. Now let's go back in and check with David Applegate. There we saw him get into a collision earlier. He's on the lead lap now, up to 12th place. After going a lap down earlier. Actually, he may not have gone a lap down, so I do apologize for that if he did not. But either way, he was involved in a wreck there early in the race. And he has bounced back quite well here to 11th place now as he gets by the 14 of Mike Peterson.
David Applegate making the pass there. That 91 machine right behind Applegate. That machine is Scott Hutchison. He's 2 laps down. I didn't see why, but he made an unscheduled pit stop, and that is what cost him this lead lap run. And he was one of those guys we were looking forward to watching race, and unfortunately this race has not gone his way.
Yeah, he definitely, again, 2 laps down here. He had damage to the front of that truck earlier as we're zooming in here just a little bit. I'm not sure. It looks like he did use his fast repair. So those two are going to duke it out right now, even though they're not even on the same lap, as he does indeed have no damage on that truck. So he did have a lot of front end damage, but he got it fixed. So he also has no more fast repairs. As look at him a lap or 2 laps down, he is right now just blew by David Applegate in the 23 like he was sitting still.
Applegate running an MSTV paint scheme, which we greatly appreciate here at MaxSpeedTV. However, I'll tell you what, he's going to get backhanded if he doesn't get inside this top 10. I'll be the first one to do it. I don't care.
He's definitely, I think he'll catch him, but I mean, we still, the 91, 2 laps down, he's passing cars on the lead lap. As it looks like David Applegate, there he goes. He gets into the top 10 for you as he will pass Trenton Barrington for 10th position. Again, another driver we've talked about in the past. He is currently sitting just outside the top 10 as David Applegate does take it from him in 11th position.
Starting to watch some other cars throughout the field here. Mark Walls, Jason Hunt. These two starting to battle again. Walls in a little bit of trouble here, losing a lot of ground. So that contact and that spin is really starting to hurt his lap times. And I'll tell you, another race that I'm watching right here is Mike Peterson in the 14 and the 77 of Tom Green.
Yeah, they're putting on a good battle. They're back for 12th and 13th place. Another MSTV paint job with Tom Green. So another big shout out for him for running that paint job. But again, that is a battle for 12th position So very interesting. And another driver we have not talked about tonight that I want to bring up is the number 4. He is on the lead lap, back in 19th position. That is Brian Barnes. Again, if I recall, he did not qualify. He is currently actually scraping the wall on the backstretch, but he is definitely normally a favorite here. He did so well earlier and did good in practice, but running currently in 19th position.
Chris Sherburne, our leader, coming to take our second restart, has fallen all the way back to 18th place. Those tires, again, I don't understand his strategy. He's on the oldest tires out there. He was leading the race under caution, took the restart, and has just continued to drop through the field, and now he's almost the last car on the lead lap.
He definitely is, as we'll go from him directly to your leader, Jeff Stabnow, who did take the lead from Brandon Peters. He is really going to reel him in quickly. As you're looking at their last lap times, Jeff Stabnow just ran a 31.955. Chris Sherburne, 32.427. That is a huge difference in time. And if he doesn't see a caution, as we are going to be halfway done this time by, as we'll take a look here. How many cautions have we had? We've only had 2 cautions for 6 laps. If we continue that and maybe only have 2 in the remainder half of this, the question is, when will that first of the 2 come out, and will it be too late for Chris Sherburne? Will he go a lap down before it comes out?
Andy Vogt getting around Brandon Peters here. So Peters going from the lead, dropping down to 3rd place now. Jeff Stabnow opening up a bit of a gap over Andy Vogt. So back up front, things are starting to pick up. You can see a little bit of the setup disparity here between Jeff Stabnow and Andy Vogt and Brandon Peters.
Yeah, definitely, and it makes you wonder if they're kind of, cooling it back a little bit. They're all on the same tires, so obviously they didn't wear them out too much more than Jeff Stabnow. It makes you wonder if they're just kind of chilling back. And the real question, will Mark Walls be able to get back up there? As you look, who's in 6th place right now? Ryan Maines in that number 17 machine. He was involved in that wreck earlier with David Applegate, and now look at him back on the lead lap in 6th position. I'm not sure he ever went a actual lap down, but he was involved in a wreck. But he's up to 6th place right now, putting together a good run.
Putting together a great run, working his way through the field. Chris White, though, starting to fall back a little bit. You can see Chris right behind Ryan there. And now Ryan's going to the outside, going to try and make a move on Mark Walls, getting it done down the backstretch.
Yeah, indeed. Here comes Chris White as well, and he is going to take 6th position from Mark Walls. So Mark Walls, we look here real fast. Look how much more damage he has to the left side of that truck, or the right side, my bad. He looks like he may have gotten into the wall another time after that initial contact, as he has a ton of damage to that car, or that truck.
It is heavily damaged now on both corners. Like you said, he's gotten into the outside wall at some point, and it's really starting to affect his race. It's a domino effect. He got that left front damaged with a little bit of contact from Brandon Peters, and is costing time. Now he's pushed his truck a little harder than he should, trying to keep up, and Brandon Peters is falling through the field really fast now. He's falling back all the way back to Chris White here in 6th.
And Chris White's going to take that position and put him in 6th. So Chris White moving through the field now. Again, putting that SimStar Motorsports truck into the top 5. He may be our little sleeper here tonight, as he's going to work his way through the field again. Like I said, I don't believe he had the best qualifying run. It definitely looks to see him as he's running down the 17 of Ryan Maines. Looking at their times, 32.043 to a 32.118. So not that much faster, but he is faster, and he is running him down right now, trying to get that 4th position.
On pit road is Chris Sherburne in the 15, and I just saw Brian Barnes exiting pit road, so we might see a little bit of green flag pit stops here once these guys get some tires and get back out on there, I'd be expecting other people to follow suit.
Yeah, he is. He's going to get there. And somebody missed their pit stall.
Brandon Peters in the 5 machine.
That is going to be a disaster as he is going to get off pit road. Coming off pit road with more damage than he had. Oh, that is going to be detrimental to his night.
I'm re-watching Brandon Peters to see what happened to him here. And we knew he was falling through the field. It looked like he tried to make a pit stop. Coming down pit road, looks like he's got a whole lot of steam coming. Got on the brakes hard, locked him up, trying to slow down the pit road speed limit, and just lost it and got into the wall.
Yeah, he definitely did. So unfortunate for him. As we'll look here, did it cost him a lap is the question. I believe it's probably going to. We'll take a look here. Chris Sherburne 2 laps down. He is 2 laps down now. He's led the most laps. Now he's out of the race as far as winning it goes anyway, unless we get some cautions. And so far we've only had 2 and we're over halfway done.
We are over halfway, and I'll tell you, we got lots of action getting ready to pick up here in pit lane. Like I said, more drivers are going to start pitting, and Doug Hunt on pit road right now as well.
Yeah, everyone's starting to bring it down. As you said, there it is. 5 laps down. Doug Hunt coming to pit road. Not sure. Yeah, he did make a pit stop, 13.6 seconds, as he's going to pick it back up here. The question is, with those fresh tires, I don't think it's going to matter too much for him. But once you see some of these leaders going in, Stabnow, Vogt, Mades, Hunt, White, Walls, Applegate, Brightsman, when they start coming down, everybody's going to start coming down. As it looks like Sean Freeberg is going to start coming down pit road as well to get some fresh Goodyear tires.
Brad Cornell on pit road also. And I'll tell you, I'd be willing to bet that these guys are trying a little bit of a short pit. We've only gone about 36, 37 laps on these tires, and I know these guys are aiming for about 50 laps, so some of these guys thinking about short pitting right now.
Yeah, they definitely are, as it's just letting Jeff Stabnow get a huge lead, 2.966 second lead, now 2.883 over second place. But here comes the 0-2, as we'll take a look. That is Trenton Barrington, 2 laps down, and look at him blow by a second faster times. 2 laps down, just blew the doors off of Jeff Stabnow like he was standing still, even though he is laps down.
Matt Henry on pit road. He was one of our front runners. Now he's making his green flag pit stop. Sean Freeberg also coming down pit road.
And he's going to complete his stop for Matt Henry. And again, everybody's starting to come down. The question is, when will the leaders come down? These guys are short pitting it here. As we'll take a look, see here. Again, 2 cautions, 6 laps. We only have 48 laps to go. So we're well over the halfway point. So maybe these guys are trying to make it in one more stop.
Very possible. A great plan, especially if the yellow never comes out. If you can do this in one more stop. And I do want to mention real quick, Sean Freeberg having a devastating pit stop here. He was already on pit road not too long ago. Looked like he maybe missed something, had to come back down pit road again.
At 25.1 seconds for that stop. So that is a long pit stop, but some of these guys are taking 14.4 to 15.4 second stops. So that is very disappointing for him as far as the pit stops go. But right now, your leader is still the 24 of Jeff Stabnow. The $1 million question is, when's he going to pit, and can he come back out on the track with that lead?
That is the $1 million question. And he's on about 41 lap old tires now, about 39 laps of green flag racing on those tires. And, you know, like I said, everyone's trying to think about lap 50 for when their fuel window opens up, and we're on lap 76. That window is getting really, really close.
Yeah, if you run to a full fuel run here, that would put them at around a lap, probably 80, was it 80 something, maybe about 86, 85. So that would not very many more laps to go left in this race. That would make it a one pit stop race after that, or one more pit stop if the caution came out then, or they could make it to then and pit. So very interesting. Actually, in really anytime soon is getting 44 laps to go. They could get 50 laps worth of fuel here. So these guys, I bet you we see Jeff Stabnow and the rest of these guys coming in here probably with about 40 laps to remain. I bet you that's about when they're probably going to come in.
That would be my plan of attack. This race really feels like it's gotten into a long green flag run. Has the feel of going the rest of the way without a caution, but you know, as we say that, caution will probably fly just as soon as Jeff Stabnow comes down pit road, and it looks like he's slowing down, and here he comes.
Yeah, he is. Jeff Stabnow coming down a pit road here as we'll look on pit lane. There he is. We're going to bring it to pit road.
And a lot of the leaders are coming as well. Sean Breitzman staying out, though.
And you can see him there. Not everybody, but a lot of them coming down. Again, Sean Breitzman stayed out. David Applegate stayed out. Steve Silstad is going to stay out. Tom Green going to stay out. And it looks like Ray Fournier is going to stay out. Fournier is going to stay out as well. Everyone else coming down pit road as we're watching to see who comes out on top. So far, we are in lap 79 with 2 cautions. And it looks like it is going to be the 24 of Jeff Stabnow coming out first out of pit road.
Jeff has got to do a great job getting through the gears here. Get on that backstretch. Don't spin out while you're on the flat part of this track. Take your time. And, you know, he had a bit of a lead on the rest of the field before he came down pit road, so he had some buffer. He's able to take his time, but Sean Breitzman, Steve Sealstad, Ray Fournier still have not pitted. Tom Green, David Applegate are on pit road now.
Yep, Breitzman pulling it on the pit road as well. Oh, again, that will hand the lead over to, like you said, Steve Sealstad. So he will lead his first lap right at the line. So he has led 1 lap. He'll get a bonus point. But again, Peter still has had the most laps with 47 laps. So right now he is 1 lap down, though, thanks to that pit stop. As we got a nice little battle going on here between the 45, the 96, and the 10. But again, those are not all on the same lap.
No, and, you know, Steelstad has an opportunity to catch a lot of drivers a lap down here. He's just got to hold on for a caution, but I don't know if he's going to get it and or be the caution. Yeah,
definitely. As you're looking here, Andy Vogt, he's a lap down right now. He actually just earned his lap back as he blew by the 45 of Steelstad to get his lap back. And I think everybody's going to start doing that once they catch up to him.
Yeah, you can see he's got a lot of wheel into it. You see a little bit of tire smoke as he goes through the corner. He's burning his tires up. He's holding on. He's really hoping for that yellow, but these guys on fresh tires are going to catch up to him, no problem.
Yeah, and he actually has a little bit of damage to the right side on the back of that truck, too, so not sure what that is about. But he does have a little bit of damage. The 26 is 4 seconds behind him. Over 4 seconds is now the 29 is going to get his lap back as well.
Oh, we got one in the wall at pit entrance.
That is Joseph Bissett here, as we'll switch to a different view. Heavy damage. Joseph Bissett coming to pit road and getting into the pit wall. So he has a ton of damage to the front of that truck now.
This pit road is not a straight shot, so when you start turning to follow pit road and you get on the brakes aggressively, the car's going to break loose on you and you're going to end up in that inside wall. He's not the first person we saw do that.
He is.
Brandon Peters fell victim to that as well earlier tonight.
Yeah, that is not what you want to do coming into pit road, as that's going to cost him a lot of time. We'll see where he kind of shakes out once it's all said and done. But Jeff Stabnow is back up to second place. The question is, can he run down the leader? He is on the lead lap. Everyone, we have 9 cars on the lead lap thanks to pit stops. But he's 22 seconds behind Steve Silstad. So if a caution was to come out, this could be very interesting here, as we have 10 cars on the lead lap. That would mean 11th through the 25th would remain at least 1 lap down.
It would catch a lot of these guys who have pitted early and have not gotten their lap back yet. But another thing it would do is it would put Steve Silstad, it would essentially hold that lead for him. He could be able to pit, and I have a feeling that Stabnow, Vogt, and Maines, all those guys would probably think really hard about pitting with him as well.
Yeah, and right as you said that, we were watching the 35 of Chris White got into the wall. We saw sparks flying, as this could get crazy right here. They're 3 wide coming out of the turn 3, and it looks like the 29 is going to take that position. That is Mark Walls, and they're still 3 wide. Chris White becoming a little bit of a sandwich back there. And so these guys are really starting to get a little more aggressive here, as we'll take a look again. 34 laps to go. We talked about it earlier. With 20 to go, they're going to start making gutsier moves, and I think we're starting to see that a little bit early.
Things are picking up a little bit. It is a bit early, but you know, you got to start making your moves at some point, and we're starting to see that now. We got 25 cars still out, or I should say 24 cars out on track, and like you're saying, 10 cars on the lead lap, so it's time to go.
It really is. This is getting very interesting here, as it looks like Joseph Bissett is going to make another pit stop. He's had 5 pit stops. He's got to get in there and get some damage repaired. He's already 4 laps down. It's not like it's going to hurt him too much. The question I want to know is, when is Steve Silstad going to go? He's had 54 laps on those since the last time he came to pit road. He has got to be right on the edge of his fuel window at this point, as he is definitely going to start losing some time.
He's losing a lot of time. Stabnow is only 17.3 seconds behind him. When Jeff got back up to speed, he was over 20 seconds, 24 seconds or so behind the leader, and he's closing that gap on Silstad now.
Yeah, only 16.3 seconds behind, and it looks like he's going to pull it down now. He is going to start wowing it up, see if he can get it to pit road, as he is indeed going to slow it down there. He's going to lock up the brakes very hard to try to make pit road speed limit, and he is going to come down pit road. The question is, can he come out back in the lead? I don't think it's going to happen, but he does still have 12-second lead. Now it's 3 seconds as Jeff Stabnow will take over the lead once again. He's already led 23 laps, so it is on lap 91 of 120. 30 laps to go here in the race. Jeff Stabnow, the man who never wins, is out front in a shot to win the race.
He's back out front, and I'll tell you, when Steve pitted, that put a whole bunch more cars back on the lead lap, and we're now looking at 18 cars on the lead lap.
It definitely is. Sean Freeberg, Ray Forner being the first one to lap down, and now Steve Silstad is actually going to be the first car a lap down. So he is going to go a lap down, 20.2 second stop, so a little bit longer there. He may have got more than just a splash of fuel. He probably got quite a few gallons to try to finish this race off.
Had a bit of a long pit stop. Maybe he had some damage he wanted to get repaired. Most pit stops here in the truck series are around the 15-second mark, so an extra 5 seconds there for something.
Yeah, he definitely took some extra time. So that does about round it up for that round of green flag pit stops, putting Jeff Stabnow back out front. So we'll see. He's got 14 laps on his tires. I'm curious. I think if we get a caution here in the next probably 10 laps or so, I think we'll see some people come into pit road. The question is, 20 or less to go, will anybody come down the pit road if a caution comes out? If a big chunk of guys come in, I have a feeling we're going to see somebody pull a gutsy move and stay out. The question is, will that be good enough for them? I don't think it will. I think you need fresh tires.
I know for me, if I was out in that situation, I'm coming to pit road. I want those 4 Mr. Feelgoods on my truck, and if everyone else comes down pit road, I know I made the right decision, because then everyone is also thinking, hey, these tires are shot. So I'm coming to pit road. Maybe if there's 1 or 2 laps left in the race when we go back green flag, if a caution does come out, I might stay out for that. But man, you can't give up 4 tires now that we've done 16, 17 laps here with the leaders.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You don't want to give up any laps or any track position here with that few laps to go. As it looks like we'll check in the guy I'm really rooting for tonight to get a solid finish, and he's doing a good job of it, is David Applegate. And not just because he is running the MaxSpeedTV paint job here tonight, but involved in a bit of a scuffle there earlier, bringing in a caution. He's worked his way back up to 8th place. Chris White, too, putting that a very good run here for the SimStar Motorsports. He is currently in a 7th position. He's putting a good run together as well.
Matt Henry having an issue on the backstretch. He's under the white line, so no caution. But Matt Henry, big-time trouble here.
Yeah, definitely that is not good. It looks like a lot of front-end damage to that truck. So we'll see if he is going to go multiple laps down anyway. And he's going to try to lock him up there and get to pit road. He will make it, so he doesn't have to tow. So a very good job for him to get it back to pit road. So we have a possible battle. Never mind, that is a lap car. So the 4 car is going to get passed by Jeff Stabnow, as it looks like Mike Peterson in the 14 is going to be the next car to go lap down. So now we have Jeff Stabnow dealing with lap traffic.
I watched what happened to the 19 machine of Matt Henry. He had a big-time push coming out of turn 2, bounced off the outside wall, spun out to the inside of the track, and was able to not draw out a caution.
Yeah, kind of by himself, it sounds like, so no caution was going to come out. As it looks like, a little bit of contact there between the 24 and the 14, right as we were watching there. Maybe the 4 or the 24, Jeff Stabnow, giving him a little bit of a bump, saying, look, you're multiple laps down. I believe we look here, the 14 is 1 lap down. Now he's 2 laps down, as a caution's going to come out with 21 to go. Looks like Dana Rogers involved, the 17 involved as well.
Big time trouble here on the front stretch, and Dana Rogers going up in smoke. The 17 machine of Ryan Maines caught up into it as well.
Well, the question is, who initiated it here as we're watching the 07 of Dana Rogers. Contact between, just kind of slid up. It looks like maybe the 7 went up, or not sure, maybe the 17 went down a little bit. But like you said, either way, both of them having major contact and bringing out our 3rd caution of the night here. For 7 laps so far, 20 laps to go. Right as we were talking about it, we were talking about 20 laps to go, who would come down pit road, and it happens. We're here, so I'm not sure. Somebody may pull a gutsy move here and not go in, but I'm with you. If it's me, I want those fresh tires on that truck.
I really feel you got to have those fresh tires, but strategy could play into somebody's hands, but I really don't feel that anyone is going to be able to hold off a charging truck that's got 4 new tires on it.
I don't either. The 14 and 4 are going to stay out. 45 is going to stay out. I believe, though, he's a lap down anyway. Doesn't matter. So I believe everyone is staying out. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, it looks like Jeff Stabnow making the pit stop. And, we got 22 laps in that run by my count, and I really feel like these 4 tires that Stabnow's getting, he's going to be a very, very fast truck.
Well, I told you they'd be a gutsy one. Andy Vogt, 23 laps on those tires, does not come down the pit road.
No, he's going to try and make the move here. He's got an out front, 20-some laps on his tires, and he's just going to start hoping for the best here. And if that Stabnow truck ends up on his outside, Andy Vogt's going to be in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, it definitely is. And while we have a minute here, let's see if we can't get Andy Vogt here in the booth, if we can find him, and see if we can't get a word with him.
Hey, Andy, you got your ears on?
Yeah.
So the question, was it a strategy move or
No. There was a group of cars holding me up. I was trying to tell if Jeff was pitting or not, and I couldn't see.
So then, that being said, are you going to go in here? It looks like you are.
Yeah.
So you're going to go to the back here as far as the lead lap cars. You've had a fast truck, though, here tonight. So you think you can get back up there?
I believe I've got a pretty good chance, but I'm going to definitely have to burn the tires off doing it.
Well, we don't want to keep you here so we don't get you speeding or you don't mess up on your pit stop. So we'll let you go. Hopefully we can see you in the booth here at the end of this race.
Yeah, I hope so.
Alright, that was Andy Vogt. Made a mistake, forgot to come down pit road or couldn't get through. Not quite sure what he was meaning by the pack of cars in front of him, but big time mistake there for me.
I think if we were looking there, we were seeing the same thing. The lap cars were in front of him that Jeff Stabnow had just passed, so he couldn't see Jeff in between. He was mixed in with those lap cars, and that is actually what caused him. He didn't know if he was pitting or not, and by the time he could see Jeff Stabnow had actually pitted, it was too late. And he could not get in there without probably speeding or getting an illegal pit entrance.
Did not want to have that happen, because that is even more of a penalty tacked on to, having the mistake of, possibly even spinning out on pit road.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to do that. So we'll look here. That's only going to put him in 10th. So, I mean, he's got plenty of time, I think. Let's take a look here at the laps real fast. As that is our third caution, and most likely going to be one of our last cautions, I would imagine. He's still got 17 laps to do it. It's going to be about 18 when we get, 16 when we get the green flags. We'll take a look up here and see if the lights are off. It looks like we're about to get the one to go. They're double filing up. So again, 16 laps to go, as everyone is right there. We almost see contact between the 24 and the 29 there. That is definitely not what they want to do under caution here. But again, 16 laps to go when we get the green flag. So that's all he has to get from 10th to 1st.
It's a tall order, but it is racing. Anything can happen.
Yeah, it definitely is. You see the full field here with their new camera packs, of course. They are supplied by TrackCams22.com. So definitely check them out for some great camera angles. But very cool angles here we get to see here tonight. But I'm really curious I'm not sure who's going to win this race right now. This is the Wolves Beard Co. 165 presented by Sanctuary Studios. And that is it. The pace car is diving off. And there it is. Green flag is back in the air once again. Jeff Stabnow out front to a .199 second lead.
John Brightsman working that outside lane on the outside of Mark Walls there, trying to make something happen. Now it looks like he's going to tuck into 3rd place here down the backstretch.
Yes, indeed. Those are 3 very fast drivers. And Applegate, again, we talked about him. He was involved in an early caution here to bring up the first caution. He's 4th place right now he may be somebody to be contending with here, as it looks like we're going to have a little bit of contact there between Sean Brightsman and Jeff Stabnow, as Stabnow is falling back to 3rd position.
Put Mark Walls back in the front. He's recovered from all the contact that he had earlier and lost a lot of ground mid-race, but here he is getting to closing time. He's back out front. One of those guys who I like to watch come through the field, and just as soon as the flagman starts thinking about grabbing the checkered, here comes Walls, who'll be up front.
Yeah, he will indeed. And we'll see, can Brightsman come away with the win? That is a huge battle for 2nd place right now. Again, taking a look. Oh, there goes a big wreck, and it involves your 2nd place and 3rd place car. Oh, and now Peter's
the
getting
whole
involved.
field is piling in.
And that is a violent roll for the 46 of Brightsman. As he's still rolling on the apron, he comes to a stop upside down. Let's go back and take a look. That was probably the worst flip I have ever seen on iRacing with Sean Brightsman. We'll take a look here. That one is already happening. Let's go back a little bit further here. Right there, battling for 2nd place. It was the 24 of Stabnow in the 46. And then they make contact just a little bit here, just in 2nd, right after the line. As we'll see if we can see kind of who. You don't want to blame anyone because it looked like just a hard racing deal. But if one of them slid up just a little bit, or if one of them came down, and it looks like maybe this 46 slid up a little bit, I'm not sure. But Aftermath, he definitely got the worst end, as he got T-boned by Mike Peters in the 14 and went barrel rolling through the apron.
Yeah, that 14 did that T-bone, drilled it into the side of the 46. 46 barrel rolled end over end, ended up on his roof. So he had to take a tow. So he's in a world of hurt for this race.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier. I guess a few weeks ago, really. How violent these wrecks can be. It's a simulator, but don't let that fool you. You know, when he's flipping like that, that steering wheel is probably going completely bananas in that car. Or that truck, and you do not want to have your hands on that steering wheel when it does.
Yeah, it creates a lot of vibration, a lot of force, especially if you have a high-end steering wheel. They actually make emergency shutoffs just for that situation.
Yeah, and I guarantee you he wants to use it right there. As that was your 1st and 2nd place runner, so that will take 2 very good drivers out of this race, or at least major contention. But look, who is still in 12th place? Jeff Stabnow. So he went to pit road, has 1 tire on those. He used his fast repair. He's not out of this race yet. And we'll see here. Sean Brightsman is 2 laps down. He's already used his. But can Stabnow get back to the front here, as we'll take a look. 4 cautions, 10 laps. It looks like Stabnow's going to come back down the pit road and maybe get another set of tires. He doesn't have any damage. You wonder if he's really trying to go down pit road and get even fresher tires.
Not sure what this pit stop is for. We'll have to figure out and see. We'll have to watch and see so we can figure out what's going on. But, you know, we got less than 10 laps to go when the green flag flies. Don't know if the tires are going to be what saves him here, but you got to do everything you can.
Yeah, he went in there, looked like maybe got a splash of fuel. He did not get that car jacked up. He was only on there 3.5 seconds, so splash of fuel, and that's it. Maybe he's planning to get to victory lane, and he wants to make sure he has enough fuel.
Got to have enough fuel for the burnouts.
This is true, so that adds an extra few laps there. But, I mean, the worst he can do, he is going to get back out. So he's going to be in 13th place. So he has 0 laps on his tires under racing compared to 8 or 9 on the rest of the field. 19 for Steve Silstad, and Ray Forner has 27. So everyone ahead of him has almost 10 laps on their tires. So he has very fresh tires compared to everybody else. So the question is he going to utilize those tires, or can he utilize them? Here is lights are still on, so we're going to have less than 10 to go here. As right there, they are crossing the line. We can get past the building there. There they come back out. 10 laps to go. We are going to get the green flag with 9 laps to go here. So this is going to be a 9-lap shootout here to conclude this race.
9-lap shootout. Mark Walls on the front row along with David Applegate. Applegate, one of the first cautions we had. He's recovered from that very nicely, sitting in second place now.
Yeah, he's still got quite a bit of damage to the front of that truck. Don't see too terribly much to the back of it. So I'm not sure if, you know, those if that damage is going to play any factor. I don't think it will. But the question is, will those tires? Again, everybody in the front 10 have very worn out tires. As Jeff Stabnow sitting back in 12th has 1. Brian Barnes, we haven't talked about him a whole lot. He's only got 3 laps on his tires. Can those two charge their way to the front here with 9 laps to go?
Gonna be interesting to find out, because we're about to, as the pace car's getting ready to pull off here.
It's going to be a wild finish. I can almost guarantee that. There it is. And a huge jump. Green flag officially out. And not to get away from the leader, but the 23 of David Applegate fell 4 spots before the start of the line. And he is still falling. That damage is definitely hurting him right now, as he's fallen all the way to 11th place. And it looks like he's going to lose that to Jeff Stabnow, who is actually 12th place right now. So there's actually some lap cars in the mix here too.
Lap cars, lead lap cars, it's all sprinkled throughout now. And the final laps, it's going to be interesting. Not for Mark Walls, though. He's get a good lead here, opening up over Jason Hunt. Chris White sitting in 3rd. Chris Sherburne, up and down day for Sherburne, sitting in 4th place right now.
And he has definitely had an up and down day. I'm feeling that whole thing earlier was just about getting a lap led. He came back in. He knew he wasn't going to lead too many laps. That's a good battle right now between Chris Sherburne and the 15, the 17 of Ryan Maines, and the 10 of Andy Vogt. Really battling between the 17 and the 10. And so it looks like Andy Vogt may take the position, as he's got a little bit cleaner truck.
Andy recovering nicely from missing the call to pit road. Here he is now back inside the top 5.
Yeah, he's putting a good run together here. Jeff Stabnow not being able to move too much towards the front right now, as he's still got to get by the 26 of Ray Forner, who has definitely got some old tires with 32 laps on them. But the problem is, there's a lot of lap cars in between them.
A lot of lap cars, a lot of passing to be had, not a lot of laps to do it.
Yeah, definitely not, as the 26 is going to get into the wall. Oh, and they're going to make it 3 wide coming out of the turn. And we'll see as it's side by side. Jeff Stabnow and Hutchinson. Right now, Scott Hutchinson, as it looks like it is going to go to Jeff Stabnow. So he's at least going to get a top 10 out of this. And we'll see 5 laps to go. Mark Walls is your race leader at the moment. So can he hang on to the leads? The question. There is still a big chunk of laps. 5 laps is a long time around this track still, really. So anything could happen. They've got some pretty old tires up here at the front of this field.
Mark Walls on 14 lap tires, now make it 15 laps. But he's pulling away from Jason Hunt. That still is Jason Hunt, Chris White, Chris Sherburne, Andy Vogt. Those are your top 5. And Sherburne looks like going to start coming under pressure from Andy Vogt here in about another half lap.
Yeah, he definitely is. That's a huge battle right there between, for 3rd position, Chris White, Chris Sherburne, and Andy Vogt. And Sherburne, like you said, right on the back bumper of Chris White. He's going to try to get that position of 3rd place if he possibly can.
So the battle for third place got 3-car fight. Then we have another 3-car battle for 6th place. Who has had a moment on the backstretch there. Vogt going to the inside of Sherburne here in 3 and 4.
Yeah, he's going to try to get that spot. I'm not sure if he's going to have it at the line. So close. I do believe Chris Sherburne did have it at the line, but Andy Vogt still not giving up. He's going to battle, but 1.366 second lead. Now 1.449 for your leader, Mark Walls, here with 2 laps to go.
Got 2 laps to go, and Mark Walls has got clean track in front of him, no pressure behind him. Gonna be smooth sailing here. Just gotta finish this race, hit his marks, stay consistent.
Yeah, he's definitely, all he's got to do is stay consistent, and he will walk away with the win here. And don't think anyone's going to battle for second. Jason Hunt has that. Chris White pretty secure in third place right now, so not a whole lot of battling going on for those positions right now. As right there, it is going to be the 29 of Mark Walls is going to be your race winner here tonight. So a great run for Mark. Well fought. He led a total of 20 laps here tonight. So we had at least 4 drivers that led double digits here tonight. So a lot of lead changes here. But in the end, Mark Walls does prevail.
Andy Vogt able to get around Sherburne, scored 4th place. So Sherburne made a top 5. And after that up and down finish, Jeff Stabnow ends up 11th after leading a lot of laps and being a front running car. We saw him get in trouble here early, or late in the race.
Well, definitely, as we're going to watch some burnouts here for just a minute. Hang tight with us. We'll be right back with your post-race show in just a few moments. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with your post-race show. Again, finishing in a very close third place finish here tonight is the 35 of Chris White. First off, it was all around a great race. I believe we only had 3 or 4 cautions. The question is, we saw you charging through the fields here in these closing laps. Had we had another, say, 10 laps, do you think you could have run down the front 2?
Absolutely not. I don't think so. I don't think I had the truck to even finish up here in 3rd place. Well, fortunately I did. I'm not sure what happened on that last restart. I got a good run and something happened there, so I was able to gain a few spots. I did not think I was going to be able to hold off the 15 coming up behind me, but I think something happened with him as well, and here we are.
Well, we already knew coming into this race tires were going to be a big factor. Everyone was going to want fresh tires. So coming in here having that huge green flag run, how bad were you looking for a water bottle on that racetrack to bring out a caution?
Surprisingly, the longer run was actually helping me. I think I was moving forward. With the newer tires, I kind of wasn't thinking I could keep up. When that longer run came in, I was actually moving to the front, so I actually liked that longer run. Wasn't handling so well on newer tires.
Well, definitely that is a true fact. You were moving forward on those long runs, so definitely had your car set up for longer runs, whether it was intentional or not. You were moving. I think if we'd attacked a few more laps on here, maybe run 130, 140 lap race, we would have seen you put a battle for the lead. So either way, a good points night for you here. Moving forward, we'll see where that puts you in the point standings. I definitely can't hurt you by any means. But any sponsors or shout-outs you want to give for that third-place finish here tonight?
Yeah, I certainly don't think I had anything for Mark or even Jeff, if Jeff was up there still. As far as sponsors, as always, Walt's Beard Co., Sanctuary Studios, Highway, New Leader, and myself with SimStar Motorsports. Those guys that put this series on, like I keep saying over and over again, they're doing a great job. It's a great platform for us to race on and have fun with. Congratulations to Mark on the win, and I look forward to Phoenix next week.
All right, well, congrats on third place. Moving on to second place, I believe KR has them. So, KR, you want to take it away?
Jason Hunt finishing second. We got to talk about him so very little, and here at the end of it, surprise finish in second place. Jason Hunt, tell us a little bit about your race and how you ended up in second.
Well, I took and I actually surprised myself in qualifying, putting it on the 4th overall. And then through the middle of the race, I just kind of fell into somewhere in the top 10 and just was kind of content riding around in there. And then when Jeff and I don't remember who the other rig was, got tangled up there with, 10 to go or so, it just slid me up into position to start right behind Mark. And unfortunately, Mark just kind of left me in the dust at the start and could never really reel him back in.
Now, do you feel that your car was good on a long run, or was it a short run kind of vehicle, or were you just solid all night?
Well, it was kind of weird. It struggled on the short run. It was a little bit too tight, and then through the middle of the run, it was really good. Like when we had that long green flag run, once we hit about 15, 20 laps, I felt the car really, set in. And then the last 10 of that green flag stint were just awful, and I was begging for any sort of debris caution we could find.
Well, you're part of the Hunt Motorsports. You got a family-involved affair. How much goes into the family side of it, getting your setups done?
It's kind of fun. We still live all in the same city, so we meet up on Sundays and kind of talk about where we're going, what we're doing, and then we meet on Tuesdays in their practice session. We run laps with everybody, and then kind of reflect throughout the day on Wednesday and kind of come up with a game plan of what we need to change or what we need to make happen for Thursday. It's nice to have 3 people that are close and in your same time zone that you can bounce ideas off of and get a running start at the week.
All right, well, once again, congratulations on your second place finish. Solid race for you. Any sponsors, people you'd like to thank?
Huge thanks to my dad and brother. Like you said, it's kind of a family operation, and without them, it would be a lot tougher to row to hoe to go over. Huge thanks to all the guys that run with us. They put on a heck of a show, between Jeff and Mark and Sean, all those guys, and then Walt's Beard Co. for tonight's race. What a great sponsor, and I appreciate them putting it on for us.
All right, well, there you go. Thank you very much, Jason, for taking the time to talk to us, and we're going to move on to our next interview.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.
All right. Moving on to the winner here of the night, Mark Walls from Walls Beard Co. sponsoring this race. Definitely a good run here. So you get to win the own race you're sponsoring. Again, it's just awesome to see you back in victory lane. We are back, you say. I don't know if we take a look here. I know we've seen you up front, but have you actually won a race? Yes, you have. Yeah, duh. You won last week. So it's been a long night here, but back-to-back wins. The only other driver to do that is your teammate, Jeff Stabnow. So how does it feel to be back in victory lane again?
Well, you know what? It feels fantastic. We got the number 29 new leader Chevy Silverado sitting in victory lane with the race sponsored by Walls Beard Co. I don't think it gets any better than that right there.
That is true. Covering all the sponsors here. All except for, of course, Sanctuary Studios, but they are the series sponsor. Unfortunately, Josh Cushman couldn't be here to represent them, but you did him proud. You brought home the win here tonight. Question, do you think Jeff Stabnow had anything for you before that late race caution there that ended up pushing him further towards the back? He was on the lead lap, but a huge wreck for second and third.
Yeah, I think he definitely had something. I didn't have anything in the short run. The first maybe 10 laps or so, field had me by about a tenth. I set it up for more of the long run, so that last pit stop was key. I was able to go down pit road, make my adjustments, change the stagger of the truck, and definitely got it to run the bottom there for that final run, and it just took off.
Well, definitely a huge run. Unfortunate for Sean that went for a violent ride. Again, Sean Brightsman barrel rolled that truck about 15 times after that wreck. But them two were definitely coming for you, trying to get up there to battle for the lead. That caution, probably a good thing for you, bad for them, of course. You never want to see any of your friends or teammates wreck out of a race. But it did kind of help you secure that lead just a little bit more. You know, two cars that are coming for you, if they are out of the race, that's a little bit more security for you. But again, you don't want to see that. But
Right.
Looking back, the one that did happen after you get past that initial, oh man, my teammates and friends are out of the race, did you get a little bit of a sigh of relief? Like, okay, that's less pressure I have now.
No, I mean, my sigh of relief just came when they were running side by side, because I knew at that point they were running as hard as they could to try to get by one another and burn their stuff. So it was just a matter of running smooth, maintaining that gap. And when I saw a truck sideways in the mirror, I knew it was done. I could breathe a little harder and then decide to get back to normal. And like I said, just went for it.
Well, you went for it and you brought it home. So first off, congrats, of course. We know you have some sponsors, so who would those be for that win here tonight?
Yeah, we got to thank New Leader on board for the number 29 machine the entire truck season, as well as on Wicked Chassis. So glad to have them back to back in victory lanes, you know, partnering up with Walls Beard Co. We got to thank Sanctuary Studios for sponsoring our series. Without these guys, we wouldn't be able to go back and watch these awesome broadcasts that you guys at MaxSpeedTV do. By the way, phenomenal. I love going back and watching these. So without Sanctuary Studios, we wouldn't have the opportunity to do that. We got to thank you guys at MaxSpeedTV for the ongoing efforts to step up your game in any way we can, and I hope our racing is doing the same for you and gives you a show that you can call and have fun with.
Definitely does.
Got to thank the team. Without Wicked Chassis, man, I wouldn't be able to do anything. We struggle to find time to get on and put something together, and we run last minute and right up to qualifying to get things dialed, and it looks like it worked out our way again, and you know, the team got another win.
Well, definitely a good win for you and a good win for the team. We're not done just yet, folks. We still have a few more pieces of business to take care of. So, with that being said, KR, you want to run through the top 15, and I will round us out through the fields here tonight.
All right, your race winner, Mark Walls, bringing this to a close. First one to get it done. What a job it was. He had an up and down race, managed to be on the top spot of the podium. Jason Hunt bringing it home second. Chris White third. Andy Vogt got fourth. Chris Sherburne rounds out your top five. Ryan Maines sixth. Brian Barnes was seventh. Donald Swafield eighth. Ray Forner ninth. 10th place was Tom Green. Jeff Stabnow 11th. 12th of Steve Seelstad. David Applegate got 13th. 14th was Matt Henry, and Trenton Barrington will be in the 15th spot.
All right, 16th we'll go to Scott Hutchinson, making his debut race here. Got his internet fixed, so he was racing with us here tonight. 17th, Brandon Peters led the most laps here tonight. 2 laps down, disappointing finish, but did pick up 2 bonus points for leading most laps and 1 lap. 18th goes to Mike Peterson. 19th Gary Nichols. And rounding out the top 20 is Joseph Bissett. 21st goes to Doug Hunt. 22nd, Sean Brightsman, again 13 laps down after that late caution there with him and Jeff Stabnow. 23rd goes to Sean Freeberg. 24th, Dana Rogers. And 25th goes to Brad Cornell. 26th goes to Carl Burke. 27th, Dan Stuzzi. Let's see, 28th goes to Kip Leo. 29th, Jason Schwenk. And 30th goes to William Fletcher. Looking back a little bit further here, I don't see anyone else after that. Your last two, Mona Lehman and James Delzeal, did not start the race here tonight. 120 laps down. So unfortunately for them, they did not start here. But again, this was the Walls Beard Co. 165 presented by Sanctuary Studios. We want to thank all the sponsors that jump on board here, whether it's MaxSpeedTV or the racing. So to go through those, SimSpeedShop.com, HRE Motorsports, Elite 7 Racing, Virtual to Reality.tv, Dirt Co. Media House, and Ohio IndyCar League on the MaxSpeedTV side of things. On the racing side of things, a big shout out to Sanctuary Studios. Again, they are the presenting partner here, sponsoring this truck series here tonight. And then, of course, Highway Equipment Company. They have two divisions. One of those is New Leader, and the other one is Highway. Big shout out to them for jumping on board here. They also are the presenting sponsor for the Xfinity Series, covered here on MaxSpeed TV on Monday night. Again, that just about does it. So, KR, any final words before we sign off for the night?
Just some great truck racing here in Las Vegas. And, man, I look forward to doing it all over again next week.
All right, as indeed do I. But again, that will do it for the broadcast here on MaxSpeed TV. We will see you next Monday night for the series, and a lot more racing coming up this week. So make sure you check out MaxSpeed TV's website at MaxSpeedTV.com. And, of course, check out our Facebook page, and just check us out here on YouTube to find out when all of our latest broadcasts are. And that being said, have a safe night and morning for some of you people, and we'll see you at the next race.